Hello, AEP 800. This is video 3 in my 5 new technology series. The technology I want to focus on this time around is Google Docs. This is a technology that I use on a daily basis. I selected this resource because I use it for practice plans, for track practice. I use it for anymore. It has been my total Microsoft Word replacement as far as word processing or anything along those lines. So I'm going to show a couple of different things that are in my daily workflow. One will be a track practice plan, and the other will be our announcement link. They are both geared toward coworkers. They are both geared towards teachers and coaches. Parents do have access, so do students, to this information. But the primary workflow that I use with this, with these two examples that I'm going to show, are with coworkers. So the first one we're going to look at is a practice plan. All right, so I coach track, as I've mentioned before. So we're going to start out in Google Drive. Okay, so this is my Google Drive folder, my track folder. We'll go over here to track practice plans in 2018, because that's obviously the year we're in. We've already made 2 for this year since we started practice yesterday. And let's open up the one for today and take a look at it. Okay, so I'm a big fan of tables. I like to use tables for organization. This is a very standard word processor. It has become more developed over time, and there are plenty of things that you can do to make it very professional looking. So I'll just go through a couple of the things that we use it for on a regular basis with regard to this practice plan, and kind of show you how I set some things up. The nice thing about this is if I come over here to my sharing section, it'll show you already the people that have been shared with this calendar, and those are all of my assistant coaches. So all my assistant coaches have the ability, once this track plan is sent out for the day for the very first time, all of these people can come in and collaborate together all at the same time, which many of you are already familiar with Google Docs. You already know that, but it's neat because we don't have to email back and forth different versions. There's one version that's constantly going, and once that version is set, we can change all those sharing permissions if we wanted to view only. The people that use these things are pretty responsible, so that's not usually a problem. But when we share things like this with parents or students, we do have their permissions to view only. So the way that we use it, we've got our date up here at the top. You can see we're divided up by each individual position, and then there's 3 sections that we have kind of our main focuses on during track practice. And so each person will put in, each coach, so our distance coach will put in what his plan for the day in each of these sections are. Our high jump coach will do the same, and so on and so forth. Here we've also got an area for our announcements, our reminders, and down here we've got some things that are perpetually on our practice plan, just some things to keep in mind as far as times and goals for the kids. Let's start a new one to kind of show you what that process looks like. So just like you would start any doc, just go up to File, New. That goes back to the 1990s, so we should all be relatively familiar with that. Up here, all you have to do to rename the document so that it will be in the easy to find is this. Let's call this AEP test walkthrough, and we do the sports spelling walkthrough, so we're going to spell it wrong because for whatever reason that's how coaches spell it. If you'd like to reorganize where that is, you can do that. We can put it in any folder we'd like to put it in, but that's not very relevant for what we're doing now. So if I was going to start that track practice plan from the very beginning, I would do this. I would say track practice plan. You can obviously put in a header or footer that you want on each page, but these are only one-page documents, so that's not super necessary. We're familiar with, a lot of us are familiar with how to bold, underline, and italic. You just highlight your area and continue on. If we were inserting a date, you can actually do that through this function. You can do a link. You can do equations, drawings, tables, charts, so on and so forth. Page numbers, again, that's not very relevant for what we're trying to accomplish. So we always just type in the date. That way, if we open up the practice plan at a later time, it won't be problematic. We can see what day it was on. So the tables in particular that I'm a big fan of, I'm going to show how to do that. You go over here to the Table tab, insert tables. So let's say that we want 4 columns across. We'll go with 5 like our other one was, I believe, and then we'll just say this many down. So all you got to do is type. There's my heading for that one. Here's my heading for that one. You can tab over. You can use the arrows to manipulate these if you want to do that before there's text in there. Once there's text in, the arrow keys will go through the text. You can resize any of these fields that you'd like to size. If you wanted to combine a couple of them, you just highlight, just click and drag. You can right-click is what I'm a fan of doing, merge cells, and you'll have to excuse me. Okay, so we were merging. If you decide that you want to unmerge, then you could certainly do that. If we were to merge stuff that's got 2 things in it, or two text fields that have stuff in both things, let's call that one sample 4. So let's say we wanted all this stuff merged together and have one continuous box right there. If we merge, you'll notice these things will all come together, not like the old system where just the top left text would be predominant. The entire stuff that's in the box will move over and will show. Again, if we want to get out of that, make it a regular cells again, then we can certainly do that. So other than that, it's very straightforward. There's not a whole lot of stuff that we have to go through on this. Very straightforward word processing. The two standards that I believe that this qualifies for is the ISTE 4A and 4C. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how I use this on a regular basis. I will show one more thing quickly that I do so that you can see another way that I use this. This field here is shared, or this Sheets document here is a form. It's a form collection, and what I do every day is I take that and I put that into our daily announcements for the day. And so this is a example of one that is shared across the entire domain. So everybody that is in our school system can see this Google Doc, but nobody has the ability to edit it except for me. So this is one that I update every single day based off of information here, and it's just copy and paste exactly like it looks. But just an awesome tool for collaboration, an awesome tool for word processing, and it is continuing to get better and better. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.